What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. I did this fighter once before, but I want to cover him again. His name is Gil Turner. He's a Philadelphia welterweight turned middleweight. Outstanding fighter. He was born in 1930. I just want to go over something with you just to enlighten you on what I've been trying to cover since I opened up this channel. Let's take a look at this point that I'm trying to make here. Now, this is 1952. This is the record of Gil Turner in 1952 alone. So let's go through this. He fought Bobby Dykes. Now, Bobby Dykes was a very, very good fighter out of Texas. He lost to him in 10 rounds. And this is not my point. My point is that he fought Bobby Dykes. Bobby Dykes was ranked number 10 in the top 10 at the time. And they went 10 rounds with him. Now, we don't know how that fight turned out. Could have been home cooking. We don't know that. We just know that he lost 10 rounds. He went the distance. Gil Turner faced Kid Gavilan, and he lost in 11 rounds, technical knockout. That was a phenomenal fight. You can check out on one of these channels, and you can see the fight, and you can see how tenacious Gil Turner was and Kid Gavilan. So the quality of fighters is the point that I'm making here. Gil Turner, Charlie Doc Williams, Don Williams, excuse me. It's not Charlie. This is Don Williams, two different fighters. Defeated him in 7 rounds. So he knocked out Don Williams in 7 rounds. Gil Turner faced Chico Verona. Chico Verona was a pretty good fighter. He wasn't your greatest fighter, of course, but he was a very good fighter. He was a good fighter he was like a Doug DeWitt. If you're looking at Doug DeWitt today, the middleweight Doug DeWitt, he was a fighter like that. Put him in there, he's going to win a lot of fights. But when you put him in there with a Nigel bent, he's not going to win, that type of a thing. He was stopped in 7 rounds. Gil Turner, Del Flanagan. Now, they were the Flanagan brothers. Del was the better of the two. Defeated him in 10 rounds. He fought him twice, actually. It was a 10-round draw. And he also won in 10 rounds. The same year, 1952. Gil Turner faces Sammy Manstream. He was an okay fighter. Okay fighter. Defeated him in 4 rounds. It was a 4th-round knockout. But then he goes on and fights Bernard Dukeson. See, now, you had the Dukeson brothers. He had a brother by the name of Maxie Dukeson. And he defeated him and knocked him out in 6 rounds. Outstanding fight that was. Bernard Dukeson was from Louisiana, and they was in there with Robinsons and all of the great fighters. So that was an outstanding win for Gil Turner. He fought Johnny Cunningham, knocked him out in 5 rounds. That's a fascinating victory. And last but not least, Joe Maselli. Joe Maselli was a very, very good fighter. Knocked him out in 6 rounds, TKO. So let's take a look. He fought 1, 2, looks like 9 times. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 times. In 1952. And this is the point we're trying to make on all these channels with the fighters today. We support all of these fighters today. This is our generation. This is our era. I speak to old-time fighters. They're very proud of their era. And this is what we want. We want to be proud of our era. But you can't do it outside of 9 fights. You can't do it outside of 5 fights a year. You can't. And then on top of it, I look at the quality of the opponents he faced within them 9 fights in 1952. This is the point we're making. It's not always victories. It's who you fight, who you accept the challenges, and how you fight those opponents. And I know Gil Turner, and I know he fought these opponents. I know he fought him until, he was a heck of a fighter. So I want to salute Gil Turner. Let's just take a quick peek. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was born October 9th, 1930. Began his professional career in 1950. Look at the string of knockouts. Look how often he fought in 1950. This is what I'm talking about. Look at how often he fought in 1951. Look at the string of knockouts and wins. He fought Bo Jack April 16th. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, defeated him in 10 rounds. We know who Bo Jack was and who he fought. If you want to be reminded, type in Bo Jack, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series, and go through the profile of Bo Jack on my channel. And you're going to see Bo Jack, the fighters he fought, the type of fighter he was, his mindset. Or look on one of these channels and watch him fight Ike Williams. He fought Ike Williams to the death. That's just the one opponent that Gil Turner fought in 1951. A lot of these fighters were like that. In fact, he fought Bo Jack twice. Fought him again, as you can see here, May 21st, Philadelphia. He stopped him in 8 rounds. It's actually the first time he fought him in Philadelphia, he went 10 rounds with Bo Jack. And the second time he fought him, he stopped him in 8 rounds. So let's clear that up. Rudy Zedal, Philadelphia, knocked him out in 5 rounds. Charlie Fusari, dynamic fighter out of New Jersey. July 9th, Philadelphia, knocked him out in 11 rounds. Charlie Fusari was Ray Robinson's first welterweight title defense. This is in Newark, New Jersey. In fact, Paul Cavalier had mentioned him before, rest in peace to him. He refereed that fight. He told me a lot of stories about that fight. Look at that, Ike Williams, September 10th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, stopped him in 10 rounds. Bernard Dukeson, November 12th, Philadelphia, knocked him out in 6 rounds. This is all in 1 year. Vic Cardell, another good fighter, New York, defeated him in 10 rounds, December 28th. Mario Trigo, another good one. He's out of the West Coast. Used to fight in Olympic Auditorium out there in the West Coast plenty of times. Philadelphia, defeated him in 10 rounds. Jimmy Sanders, his first fight in 51. January 20th, Philadelphia, killed him in 2 rounds. 1952. February 4th. Wow, look at this, February 25th. Del Flanagan, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 10-round victory. March 21st, Don Williams, New York, knocked him out in 7 rounds. Fascinating. This is all in the same year, 1953. I think I get the picture. Gil Turner was a dynamic fighter. And this is what I'm talking about. And yes, I am going to be entering him in my Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. There's no reason why you don't understand why. I just showed you his fighting record. The fighters he fought in 1 year. In 52 alone. Look at 1951. Look at 1953. And that's not even his whole career. So we got to be very careful as we judge fighters. And it came at a time when if you couldn't fight, you would be knocked out, as simple as that. Because if you can't punch, you don't belong in there with these fighters. You had to be able to punch because they kept coming at you. And that was the reason why a lot of the fighters around, guys that I see today and in the 70s, because you have to be able to take a punch. It's just as simple as that. This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. Salute to Gil Turner. I just placed him in my Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. You don't always have to be a champion. You don't have to win all your fights to be in here. It's about being a fighter. Salute to my subscribers. Peace.